1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. EJR here as always. And today we're going to be tackling more on the 2019 ZX10. Specifically, we're going to be mounting some Rotobox RBX2 carbon wheels. On the back, we're going with a 38-tooth super light aluminum sprocket. And on the front, I already did it off camera, but I converted one of the rotors to a full floater with Brembo buttons. One thing I am going to tackle in today's video specifically is the front wheel and how to remove some rolling resistance. So I'm going to show you some ceramic bearing versus steel bearing differences, and then I'm going to pump up the brakes after that and show you the difference between the full floating rotor and the semi-floating rotor. That's factory. So right now I'm going to pop this thing up on the stands, and then I'm going to spin the wheel the way it sits with the brakes pumped up to see how many revolutions we get out of it. Then once I do that, I'm going to back off the pads, and I'm going to spin the wheel again to test the steel bearings to see how many revolutions we get out of that. Just a little side note in case you saw it. We mounted the Evo 0 to 4 swing arm off camera, so that's on there now. It's not fully fitted, as you can see. We're not tight back here because I still have to cut the chain to length and all that stuff, and I can't do that because I don't have a 520 sprocket for the stock wheel. So once I swap the wheels over, I'll be cutting the chain. All right, now the bike's on the stands. I've marked off a piece of tape on the wheel here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull from the top of the fender down to where the tape line is, and I'm going to do my best to kind of put the same amount of throw into each and every one of these. So let's see what it does right now. So like 1 1/4. Let's do it one more time. Yeah, it's a little less than 1 1/4. Let's do a third time just to make sure. That time it went 1 1/2. So we'll do 1 1/4 to 1 1/2. I think I threw it a little harder that time. So that's where we're at right now. So what I'll do is I'm going to back off the pads to test the bearings, so we can go do a solid steel to a ceramic bearing test as well. Alright, so now we're going to test the bearing. Same pull. We're going to see what we do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 7 3/4 turns out of that one. Let's do it one more time because this takes a little longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a little less than 8 1/4 on that one. So we're getting between 7 1/2 to 8 1/4. So I'd say that's fairly consistent. All right, so now that I got that test out of the way, I'm going to take these wheels off and I'm going to bring the carbon wheels down to the local dealer to have them swapped over since I don't have a tire mounting machine here. And then when I get back, I'll mount those up and I'll redo the tests on the front wheel to show you what we actually gained from switching over to a floating rotor and ceramic bearings. All right, so the carbon wheels mounted up and so was the floating rotor. And now let's do the spin test with no brake pad applied to the rotor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, we'll stop it there and call it 21. All right, brake pads are pumped up. Let's do the typical fender to middle of the tire pull and see what we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, say about 17 3/4 spins we got out of it this time. I'd say we improved quite a bit there. That's a lot less rolling resistance between the weight of the wheel, the ceramic bearings, the full floating rotor, and I also torqued the axle less on a ceramic bearing, a lot less than factory spec actually. That's how a lot of damage happens to ceramic bearings. They get over tightened, especially some of the OEM spec on this bike is like 90 foot-pounds, which is a little ridiculous. So I don't go anywhere near that. I'm not going to say what I torque it to for two reasons. One, tricks of the trade, that's privileged information unfortunately. Two, there's going to be a lot of know-it-alls on the internet that are going to crucify me for safety purposes and all that other stuff, but I assure you, the bike is perfectly fine. You don't need nearly as much torque on this axle tube as you think because you have 4 pinch bolts holding that in place. So it really can't go anywhere even if it wanted to. I'd say that's overall pretty solid gain. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount up the rear wheel, which is sitting right there, and then I'll get some final thoughts on this video for you when I'm done. Alright guys, there she is. Swing arms on and all buttoned up. So is the carbon wheel. Over here on this side we have the EK3D 520Z chain in silver or chrome, however you want to call it. The super light 38 tooth 520 aluminum sprocket. Up front I still have to put on the chain guide right here. So that way if the chain does in some way snap, it won't crack the case, or at least help prevent cracking the case. But overall, I'm thinking it's coming out pretty damn good. We have the front wheel. I do have to put a few miles on the chain to stretch it out a little bit, then I'll have to retighten it. But that really doesn't matter because I'm going to be pulling the transmission on this to be putting in the Robinson first gear alongside polishing the transmission as well. Still waiting on the levers. We ordered some ASV gray levers with black knobs. That will look pretty good. Overall, I'd say this bike is coming out pretty damn badass. The inlet finally arrived here. I'm still waiting on the dash piece to do that all at once. And then once the inlet's on, I'm going to actually take the bike out and do the final pump gas tune on it. And then I'll likely be tuning it on possibly some MR12 or C85 depending on what he wants to go with. Pretty confident that it's going to be faster than this one. But alright guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I just wanted to show you the Rotobox wheels and a couple of tricks on the front end there to make that front wheel spin a lot freer. But alright, you know what to do. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you hated it. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you already have subscribed, make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified of more videos like this. Alright guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.